Kids, today we're going to start our teardown Stihl MS 150. I'm going to be changing out the top end on this one. Start by taking our covers off. Starter cover. There's different ways you can go about doing this. This is just going to be the way I'm doing it. These are 27s, T27. We're going to get those off. On these, some of these screws are plastic. They screw into plastic. Some of these screws are machine thread. Your plastic screws are going to have more of a coarse. Look how dirty that is. We're going to pull that cover apart. We're actually going to do a starter rebuild out of this video for you guys. But we're going to take this, we're going to soak it in purple power and give it some new string. We're going to fix it. After inspection, it looks okay. Go ahead and cut my string off because I know I'm replacing the string. T27 and a 25. That center screw comes out. You have a plastic wheel here with teeth on it that's going to grab your starter, and below that you have a spring. There's another spring. So you have two springs and a gear and a spool. Inspect your teeth, make sure they're good, no cracks, don't look all worn out and funky. I'll set that aside. We're going to clean all that later. Pull our air cover, nasty, dirty. Pull our carburetor mounting hardware off. Really, you should take the choke lever off first, but we're going to do this first today. Pull this back cover off. Put that in the box to be cleaned. A little screwdriver or a little Stihl screwdriver and pop that sucker up. I like to use a pick and a screwdriver. Do this whole process. T25s for our handle. Pull these screws out. There might be T20. Some of the saws are 20, some are 25. I'll take everything apart. Pay attention now when you do these. Try to remember. If you need to, take a picture. I don't need to. I remember that. The spring on that one's pretty tricky. Keep it together if you can. Get this linkage out of the way. Here we're going for the mount. Get this out of our way. Sorry I'm not wearing a shirt. We're in Florida. It's hot here. Take a pick. Grab the knot in the inside of the spool. Just try to pop that sucker out and get it out, get that out of the way. That's garbage. Throw that in the cleaning box. Top screw mount. It's going to be a small screw. Now I'll pull this carburetor off. Give it a little pry in the back. Be gentle. It's going to be tight over here. On this side, you want to push down on that primer bulb and filter vent. Push that down and get it off the carburetor. I know it's kind of hard to see, it's rubber. I recommend you spray this with silicone spray on all your rubber parts. It'll make everything so much easier. I was out of silicone spray, so. I'm just gonna have to pop the primer bulb out because I couldn't get it without getting the primer bulb out. This is our vent, which is also connected to the primer bulb. So pull that down. You can lift the carb up at the same time. Sometimes it makes it a little easier. And the carb should just pop out. That's two lines. One's a pulse line, and one's a feed line. Take our back linkage out, just lift the carb up, turn it to the side, it'll come right off. I want to make sure we don't get any dirt and stuff in there. This was already dirty, so generally I wrap it in a towel, and then I'll cover it, and I'll clean it without getting dirt in it, so we don't get that dirt. I'm going to wrap that sucker up, put it over here. Get our linkage. Swivel. You got our main intake boot that we're going to peel back and push through. And on the left side we have our impulse line, that's our tank vent. We have an impulse line on the right and two lines on the left. We're going to push those through the back side. A little bit easier, have a little bit more play to take this mount off. If you don't have silicone spray, put some oil around these things. Make them loose. See, before I pushed mine out, I noticed there was a nipple sticking out that's not right. This nipple is actually going to go in the vent, if I can find it. There it is. I promise next time I wear a shirt, put that sucker in there, put that back in the box. We're pretty loose. We still have a line. It looks like I forgot one of the lines. We're going to have to get this mount off. You gotta get the clutch, the sprocket off so we can pull the plastic cover that's blocking our bolt for this mount, or screw for the mount. This is gonna be clockwise motion with an impact, not counter clockwise. Let's give it a quick jump, and it'll come right off. We're gonna clean that, do a quick inspection, it looks pretty good. Bearing, set the bearing aside, keep that away from everything else, put a bunch of dirt in that. This gear spins right off, but I'm going to go ahead and pull that cover. Should have this dirt out of the way. Don't show you. There's two screws, one screw in this actual cover. My cover is broken, it's going to need to be replaced. Clean it. Screw's going to be back here, which this is wrong. It should have been through that plastic piece, not behind it. So whoever put the handle on last didn't know what they were doing. We'll catch you up on that on the back together. That screw out, throw it in the box. Pull them out, give it a quick inspection, no cracks. Take our ground wire off. Wheel wires, get those out of the way. We just got our rubbers and the handle should come off. I forgot to take that one off on the back side because the piece stuck in it. You can just grab it and pull it. If you have enough lube on it, it'll come right off. Take that and soak it some purple power and give it a pressure wash. And pull our top cover off. It's going to need to be cleaned. You can go in any really order you want. on a lot of this stuff. We're gonna do the intake next. Pop the intake cover off. It's gonna cover the bolts here. The bottom, you might not be able to see it because the saw is so dirty. Put that aside. Gonna have 2 bolts, T27s, holding the intake on. Nope, hold the saw tight so the saw doesn't take off. Pull this off, inspect your boot. It looks good, throw it in the box. Alright, so we gotta get this mount. We gotta get the spark plug still. We got the muffler, the oil, gear, and pump. There goes our mount. And one of the bolts for the motor. Do the hardware on the muffler, T27. You're gonna need a long T27 for this. Get it in there, make sure it's set. You do a little bit of torque and then hit it. So if your T27 is a little wore out or a little loose, you won't strip the bolts. Normally you can just shake it and they pop out. You might have to finagle the muffler around a little bit to get it, but you'll get it. Once your hardware's out, the muffler should slide out. And we'll clean that up. There's no gasket. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take this top screw out because we're gonna remove the screen on this and we are gonna port this. See how small that is for your exhaust? We're gonna drill that out later. Go ahead and pull the spark plug. Get this boot off. Sometimes these boots are tight. They're hard. Be careful not to tear out your spring in there. Alright. This is going to be a T27. I'm going to take my Stihl screwdriver and I'm going to gently pull out my ground wire. Get that out of the way. I don't need this long thing anymore. Give me my small one. 2 bolts. T27. Pull the hardware, pull the wire mount out, and set them aside. Keep them together. Set them aside. Your coil should be loose. Right now it looks like it's stuck. There's our mount. We're going to clean that. Just leave it loose for now. That's all you got to do. Go ahead and pull your oil drive gear off. You have to get behind it with something and give it a turn counterclockwise. Normally it comes right out. There we go. Inspection. Next thing is going to be our oiler. One T27. 2 oil lines. You got a line coming into the pump and a line going out to your oiler, to your bar. Do an inspection. Pop our bar guide off there. This is a motor mount up here. Hold your motor in, throw that in the box. See, I have the plug in there. It's not gonna come out. I'm gonna fight this for a minute. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna pretend like I don't know what's going on. And we gotta take the spark plug out. And do a little inspection. Don't matter, we're replacing the top end. Motor should come right out. That needs cleaned. Lots of purple power everywhere. There's a little crack right there, not a big deal. Do an inspection of the coil. That looks good, we'll clean that. And that's it for this video. We're pretty much torn down, other than tearing down the motor, but I'm not going to tear down the motor until I pressure wash this and clean it and get rid of all this dirt. And that's it. We are ready to take all our parts to the cleaner.